the Noghri have the high ground.
Oh, they're screwed.
Yeah.
They are
They-
screwed.
Han, Wedge, and Leia know they are screwed right now.
Out of the way, you!
Hello there. I'm Darren,
And I'm Doogie.
and we're looking at the real sequels. The series of books, novels, and sometimes comics that released after episode 6, starting with Heir to the Empire. And this week we're on chapter 10.
Yes. Chapter 10 opens with Han and Leia being led around this huge crater that used to be a power plant on Bipfash, and they're being led by Wedge and Tilly's, and there's other New Republic diplomats are there as well, and there's some Bipfashy pointing out things to them, and basically Han and Leia and Wedge are kind of like out in front of them, and they're talking about why was Bipfash attacked. The Sluice Van shipyards, they're only a few light years away. There's some like more important trade routes and other planets nearby, like why the effort of such a coordinated attack on such a minor system of planets. And Han suggests that it was just a test to try out some new communications equipment because, as we said last episode, Kabouth was controlling 3 different fleets all at the same time using the Force. So it was like a 3-pronged simultaneous attack on these systems.
Well, it was very stiff. It was a very stiff attack.
Yes, Kabouth was very stiff during the attack. Are you happy now, Darren? Is that what you wanted to hear?
Stiff.
Yeah. So Han thinks that the Imperials have developed some new technology and that they were just trying to test it out. And Wedge points out coordinated attacks have been done before, but there was something a bit different about this attack, and that's why Han thinks it's that. And the whole time this is going on, Leia is having this like...
It's like, they actually hit stuff. They must have new technology that improves their aim so they can actually hit things.
Yes, genuinely.
We haven't seen accuracy like this since that time they shot a sandcrawler.
Well, Pelion does pull up the analysis, and they're 40% more efficient in all areas, so they are hitting more stuff. But yeah, as they're walking along in this crater, Leia is having this like weird kind of feeling through the Force, and as Han is like saying about this communications equipment, she's reminded of the time on Cloud City when Luke felt Han and Leia, he felt their pain, he felt it through the Force even though he was light years away, and she says, what if they have someone doing that? Maybe that's the communications stuff they were testing out. And Han is saying, well, sure, the Emperor and Vader, they're dead, so like, how could they possibly be doing that? And Leia suggests, well, maybe the Empire has found a new Dark Jedi. And when she mentions the word Jedi, Wedge chips in and he says, oh, are you talking about Joruus C'baoth? And Han and Leia are like, who's Joruus C'baoth? So Wedge says, oh, I like heard this rumor.
Wedge is like, actually it's pronounced Sabaoth.
Well, Wedge can suck a dick. So Wedge says, oh yeah, you heard this rumor about a Jedi from the Clone Wars that just resurfaced recently on a planet called Jumark. And...
Oh, so we're seeing the effects already of the rumor mill.
Yeah.
It's like, Thrawn's like, I know, Wedge is the biggest gossip in the entire galaxy. We'll pass it around. He'll pass it on.
Yeah, that's it. Well, sorry, Darren. Pelion knew Wedge is the biggest gossip in all the galaxy.
The potato skins are on me.
Yeah. Do you think people will get that saying, that common Irish saying that the potato skins are on me? Do you think people will get that outside of our country?
It is very common around here.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
So you've got potato skin in your face?
Yeah.
Some guy said to me, you've got egg in your face, and I was like,
what?
What does that even mean?
Why would you put an egg on your face?
Exactly. You know what I mean? I was like, it's like, you've got a wee bit of potato in your face.
Yeah.
Completely embarrassed.
You know, it's like the other thing is like, it's no skin off my potato.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, as Wedge is telling them about Joruus C'baoth, that feeling that Leia was having suddenly erupts, and she shouts out, like, duck to Han and Wedge, and they duck out of the way as some grey-skinned aliens pop over the rim of the crater and start shooting at them. So they quickly take cover behind a big lump of like twisted metal that's nearby, but they're pinned down, and the other diplomats from the New Republic, they're pinned down as well by the Noghri that are firing on them. And Han pulls out his comm to try and call Chewie, but they've jammed the communications. So Han and Leia and Wedge are trying to work out like where they can go or what they can do, because the Noghri have the high ground.
Oh, they're screwed.
Yeah,
They are
they,
screwed.
Han, Wedge, and Leia know they are screwed right now. So when they're trying to come up with a plan of like getting out of here, Leia hears a familiar whine above the noise of the blaster fire. And
She's like, is that a Merlot?
yes, and a giant bottle of Merlot comes soaring in. The Falcon comes roaring in, and Han says, good old Chewie must have noticed that the communications were being jammed and realised what was going on. So the Falcon lands in between the majority of the blaster fire and where Han, Leia and Wedge are sitting, like giving them cover, and the ramp lowers down. And so Han's like, right, I'll go first, I'll get to the ramp, I'll give you both cover, and then Leia, you come next, and Wedge, you bring up the rear. You know, laying out this strategy. But Leia, like, this, like, strange feeling isn't going away. And she's like, hold on a second, Han. You know, that something isn't right here. And Han's like, what are you talking about? Han and Wedge are both saying, you know, we need to get out of here, we can't just sit here. And then Leia's like, oh, she realizes that she can't sense Chewie's presence on the Falcon. And she says this to Han, and Han's like, what are you talking about? And then he stops, and he's like, wait, Chewie's not using the undermounted gun on the Falcon to fire back at them. Why is he not firing back at them? And then he looks around their cover and actually looks at the ship, and he realizes this isn't the Falcon. It is a YT-1300, but it's a different YT-1300. So Han, Leia, and Wedge are sitting there like, well, what do we do now? You know, we can't run in, and we still are pinned down by all the Noghri around the rim of the crater, so what can we do about this? And Leia suggests, like, can we sabotage the ship or something at least, and then try and get out, because obviously if they just try and run away, the ship will follow them easily and stop them. So basically they work out a plan where they're going to use Leia's lightsaber to disable the ship. So they run out and they run for the ramp as if they're going to run up the ramp, and then at the last second Han darts off to the side and makes his way under the Falcon, while Leia and Wedge sit at the base of the ramp and fire up into the ship. And so as soon as they do that, they start taking fire from inside the ship. The Noghri are firing back at them, and a few moments later there's a big like whoosh, and the ship rises up a few meters off the ground and then lands back down, and Han comes like scurrying out from underneath the ship again, and he says he cut the cooling lines for the main engine. And Leia looks up and she sees like a massive plume of white smoke shooting up from the ship.
Ah, yes. They're pressurized Caffrey's Corface gas that's floating away.
Yes. Which is actually poisonous.
Oh.
You know, does it say that in the comic?
Nope.
Nope.
The comic just gives them a miraculous getaway.
Yeah. So Leia like asks Han, is that stuff not poisonous? And he was like, yeah, but it's lighter than air, so we'll be safe enough down here, but hopefully some of it will be going into the ship as well as shooting up into the atmosphere.
Hang on. Poisonous gas in the Falcon? Not sensing Chewie on a ship? Cutting the underside of a ship so then it doesn't work? Where have I seen this before?
Yes, because modern Disney cannot come up with its own ideas anymore, Darren.
I've seen this raw shiteness once before.
All they can do is steal them from genuine creative people. I was thinking that myself earlier when I was reading it. I was just like, what the hell? This is just episode 9?
Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
Or no, or was it No, wait, am I thinking episode 7?
Yeah, there's episode 7 for the gas, and then
Yeah.
episode 9 for the not sensing Chewie, and then hitting a ship with a lightsaber.
Yeah.
But this one was parked. You didn't have to do a backflip over it
Yeah,
because it was just running at you for some reason instead of shooting you.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's not get bogged down with that shit.
I know. But yeah, after they disable the ship, they're sitting still using it for like cover and wondering like, right, how can we get out of this situation now? And then they realize like all the blaster fire has stopped, and a few moments later they get knocked down by a shockwave of an escape pod launching from the ship.
For the love of God, sir, there are 2 seats.
I like to put my feet up.
And soon afterwards, there's a roar as a squadron of X-Wings flies by in attack formation. And Leia's like, how did they know we were here? Because the communications are still being jammed. And then she looks over at Han and says, you disabled the cooling lines on purpose, right? So that it would be a signal flare and it would disable their ship. And Han just like smiles and he's just like...
Shrugs his shoulders.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, I loved that wee moment because it's difficult when you have non-Force users in Star Wars to still make them seem relevant and still make them seem like, you know, they're as much involved with the story as anyone else.
Have you seen the sequels? Even if whenever you're like given some measure of the Force, some measure of Force powers, they just decide, nah.
You have one line now.
Enjoy your plot.
Yeah.
You've got one word.
Ray. No. That's not fair, Darren. He has 2 words. Ray and woo!
And now Little Richard with Keanu Ray Woo.
Ray. Ray.
Ray, I never told you Ray.
It's Ray.
I don't know what you're talking about. If you know what Darren's talking about, let us know in the comments below. Because I certainly would like to know what reference he's making. But yeah, so it's just, I loved, like, it's not even a big moment, but it's just a wee thing of like, you know, Han, he's been surviving as a smuggler for years, just him and Chewie, like he knows how to get out of sticky situations. And it's just a beautiful demonstration of that, of like, his knowledge of the Falcon meant that he knows how to disable a YT-1300, and also he knows that the coolant is lighter than air and is bright white, so if it gets released it'll form like a big smoke cloud, and it'll be really easy to pick up in an X-Wing as you're flying by. So it's just like a fantastic wee moment to give Han, while Luke and Leia are off like doing galaxy-wide things. Han is still relevant. But yeah, basically that segment ends, and that takes up most of the chapter. So the next wee bit of chapter 10, the second sort of like scene in chapter 10, takes place 4 days later, where Han, Leia and Chewie are on the Falcon, and Han, he was talking to Admiral Akbar, and basically him and Leia are discussing like, what do we do now, kind of thing, like where do we go. Admiral Akbar wants them to come back to Coruscant, but Han is saying, I don't know if it's safe there, I don't know if security is tight enough to be able to prevent these grey-skinned aliens from getting in, even on Coruscant. And Leia's like, well, what else can we do, or where else can we go? And Han's trying to suggest we find somewhere secret where no one knows where we are and just hole up there for a while until all this gets like sorted out. But Leia's saying, no, I can't give up on my diplomatic duties, like there's too much that needs done. And so Han's saying, well, like whatever sector we end up in, if we can connect to the New Republic network through the Falcon, that way Leia can keep up to date with all the diplomatic stuff that's going on, but they'll still be safe. And they're saying, well, how can we do that? You need to like inform the sector governor if you want access, and if we inform them, then it's just another person that might leak the information. somehow. So basically they get round to the idea of slicing in to the network so that they don't have to tell the sector governor they're there. They can just do it kind of like secretly. So basically the chapter ends with Han starting to prepare the Falcon for takeoff, and he's saying, well, I know a guy, he's an upstanding citizen, he's a former war hero, and he's an honest businessman, so he definitely has slicer contacts. And Leia gets like a wee smile and says, why do I suddenly have a bad feeling about this? And that's how chapter 10 ends.
Beautiful. Well, that about wraps up this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and see y'all next week.
Well, not see you, but... Well, we won't see you, but you'll see us.
Yeah, I can't see a thing in his helmet.
Take over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.